Saudi roll out the red carpet. I'm just teasing you, Tom. I'm giving you a hard time, Tom.
love it.
Saudi roll out. I was waiting for the period. I'm like, damn, that's a long ass sentence.
Very good sentence.
Saudi roll out the red carpet for fast food loving Trump and mobile McDonald's. I mean, these guys were competing on how to give President. This is President Trump shows up. Look what they have there.
That is
Look at this.
so sick.
They know how much he loves Big Mac. They're like, yeah, bring it out, right? Bring it out.
You know what that says on the top? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it. Anyways, and then while he's there, he's giving a speech. So he goes to Saudi first. He comes out. This is the first time he's coming out. Tom, you were telling the story about the fact that the only last time that he came out was for his father.
Yeah, apparently
that MBS
coming out to the plane. The report I read was he had only done that with his father. He normally has the horse guard come out and give them a big welcome, and then they meet him at the palace. So he's on home field, right?
Yeah.
But he came out to the plane.
Yeah, so that's showing the ultimate level of respect. And then there was the purple
carpet. It's like almost like royalty. Like that's showing of respect. And the thing that the gifts that they gave him, he really, really treats him as an equal. Look at that. Like that doesn't happen. The purple
carpet
signifies
walking up and then walking out with him. Okay. America looking powerful again.
Yeah.
While he's there, he gives a speech, which, by the way, a very bold speech, folks. A lot of neocons were not happy about that speech. A lot of people were not happy about that speech that he gave. Rob, if you have it, $120 of it, the shorter version of it, is that the one? Go ahead and play this clip. Go for it. Watch this.
The transformations have been unbelievably remarkable. Before our eyes, a new generation of leaders is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos, where it exports technology, not terrorism, and where people of different nations, religions, and creeds are building cities together, not bombing each other out of existence. We don't want that.
Yes. What a boss. Yep.
And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and
pause it, Rob. So, you know, he's doing that. Then he offers the 140, inks the $142 billion arms deal with Saudi Arabia, which, Tom, you have some thoughts on that, part of the $600 billion investment. And then, you know, on top of that, you know, he gets on the plane and goes to Qatar and does his thing there. But I'll pause right here. Tom, your thoughts on this visit? Why was this special? What was special about it?
Well, I think he's going around the world and he's doing these trade deals. And he's also trying to improve relationships with people. And America has always had this weird relationship with Saudi Arabia, where on one level, you know, we have this this détente, and on another level, they do things behind the scenes. Well, what was interesting is they announced that they were going to put all this money, $600 billion in the U.S., and they're spending $142 billion of it. So Trump came back, $102 billion, and guess what they wanted? They wanted state-of-the-art Air Force missile defense and maritime security. Because remember, they got the Gulf there, and they got the same problems. Believe it or not, the Somali pirates bother the shipping for Saudi as well. So he comes over and he gets an arms deal. So that's money going to some of, you know, our defense, military defense, industrial defense complex that raises their revenue and it helps the stock market. But now it's like, okay, how are they going to use these things? Because Saudi's always been kind of two-sided on it. But I think he's out there trying to get a better position. So whenever people see these things and they think, oh, I can't believe he's doing this and that, he's trying to get us a toe up. Every one of these things, he's trying to get us a toe up. And I'm not buying off on that he's caving on this or that.
Do you think Saudi's being a good agent? Do you think Saudi's being straight up? Do you think Saudi's going to take that $142 billion arms deal and indirectly sell it to other people to make profit on it? Do you think they will do something like that? Or maybe that was in the past, they won't do it again moving forward?
Arms tend to, not all of these regimes are altruistic. There's a little corruption all over the Middle East, and stuff goes out the back door. The French have been selling, missiles and exocet fighters for decades, and all of a sudden they go over here, and then they go over here. How did you get those? Oh, we got them from the French. It's a trade deal. So to me, whenever it's a big arms deal, one day they're going to do something. Someone's going to do something with the arms in the Middle East. They rarely build up big missile stockpiles like the U.S. and Russia did, stalemate, and never use them. Weapons tend to get used in the Middle East. And so I worry about that in the future. But I think right now, the Saudis are trying to walk forward, because I think the Saudis is one regime, as people say, well, they're bad things about them this way and that way. But there is one thing about them. They don't want to look like the old Middle East. They are actually building cities and are trying to look forward. That doesn't make everything they're doing on the backside good, but they are actively trying to make it to tomorrow.
Adam, your thoughts on this?
Well, when you think of Saudi, you have to think of one name, and that's MBS. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has been trying to transform Saudi Arabia from the dark ages into a modern society. I mean, when he came to power, he allowed women to start driving again. He started basically reaching out to countries and give economic prosperity. He started basically using sports and culture
women to
and
start
entertainment
driving again.
Yeah. It's tough stuff, right?
Crazy.
I mean, I totally disagreed with this, but just shout out to the prince for what he's doing.
I'm not even comfortable with you driving.
I don't. That's why I don't drive. Unless the crown prince wants to get me a car. But this is the guy that's transforming the Middle East. I would take the gift,
I know
PBD.
you would, yeah.
Thank you. But this is the guy that's transforming the Middle East. Now, he doesn't come with issues, not come with issues. There's been allegations, there's been stories, there's been rumors. But at the end of the day, this is the type of a leader that works for the Middle East. The Middle East doesn't have presidents. They don't have prime ministers. They have rulers. This is what they respond to. So here's the guy changing things. Now, when Trump comes in, on the surface, this all looks great. But as always, the devil's in the details. So here's how I would break down the Middle East. And PBD, you would know this better than anybody. In the Middle East, you have what you could call the haves and the have-nots. There's a big difference between the petro-states and the Gulf states versus everybody else. So the countries that have money have what one thing, Tom? Oil. So Qatar, UAE, Saudi, Kuwait, Bahrain, all those Gulf states right there, their GDP per capita is incredible. I think Qatar, which is quietly one of the leaders of funding terrorism, don't say it out loud, has the highest GDP per capita in the world. In the world. I think number 2 is Luxembourg. But then you have the have-nots. The have-nots is where everything gets very messy and very tricky and very ugly in the Middle East. You're talking Yemen, war, Syria, civil war, Lebanon, Hezbollah, Iran. We know what's going on there. Iraq, Jordan to an extent, Egypt, even the Palestinian territories. All these areas are basically marked with death and chaos. When I had the conversation with our friend Bassem Youssef, I said the one thing that would hopefully happen in the Middle East is exactly what Trump said he wanted to prioritize. He said the following: I want to prioritize commerce, not chaos. And that's exactly what I said to Bassem. I said it would be amazing if countries were able to focus on GDP, not GDT. Gross domestic product, not gross domestic terrorism. The issue is the rich countries basically fund terrorism in the poor countries. And they have proxy wars. What's the proxy war that Saudi and Iran are fighting? In Yemen. Who is Qatar and Iran funding? Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas. So it's a very tricky situation.
Let me tell you what happened, though, with President Trump. you know, he also, on this visit to Qatar, Rob, can you find that one clip where he says, you know, you remind me a lot about the person I just visited right now, which is, do you have that clip, Rob? When
This it where he says tall and handsome?
No. They're sitting next to each other. He's sitting literally right next to the, that's
right
the one
here.
right there. Yeah, watch that one right there where he says, go ahead.
We came from Saudi Arabia, where we have another great man
They're
over
competitors.
there that's a friend
Watch.
of yours. And you two guys get along so well and like each other. You sort of
about that.
remind me a little bit of each other. If you
Look at
want
the
to know.
face on it.
They're both tall, handsome guys that happen to be very smart. But he's also a very special guy, and it's good to see all the relationships forming in the Middle East, because the Middle East is really being talked about all over the world, and we're having a lot to do with it. We're helping a lot, but they're doing a tremendous job. So I just want to thank everybody very much for
So he goes
being here. I
then
want to
all
thank
of a
the
sudden,
media.
you know where he
Media's
goes to
been
next?
very fair, actually, and
Yeah, he goes
goes
to
to
great to
Syria.
be with you. This is
No, he doesn't
you take a
go
look
to
at this
Syria.
He
room. This
meets
room
with
is,
Syria's
the
president.
real-
First time ever in 25 years.
Yeah, and he
Weird.
He
Do you have that with the Syria's president?
he lifted the sanctions off Syria for
He
the
did.
first time in 45 years.
Yeah. So can you pull up the two of them together? There is a clip I saw of the two of them together. Syria president. Let me see if I can find this. So again, is this the one? First time in
That's just an
25
image.
years. Image of Trump, Shara meeting in Saudi royal court. So yeah, that's right. So they're there, but this is the first time in 25 years a U.S. president sits with Syria's president. I mean, the way he's going about it, he's making a statement to everybody. Listen, I don't want war.
Period.
And you gotta love it. And the way he's doing it is, who is he going to? Can you pull up who this person is, Rob? So what do we know about Ahmed al-Shara?
Yeah,
Okay.
former jihadist Islamist who has now taken over Syria.
Yeah,
Former?
That's
Well,
right.
that's
Oh, you retire?
yeah. Well, you know, he's basically a terrorist in a suit and tie, and I'm
Okay.
using air quotes
right
for the
there.
people
Look at
listening.
Al-Shara joined Al-Qaeda in Iraq shortly
Yes.
before 2003 invasion of Iraq and fought for 3 years in Iraqi insurgency. American forces captured and imprisoned him from 2006 to 2011. His release coincided with the Syrian revolution that the Ba'athist dictatorship of Bashar al-Assad. Al-Shara created the Al-Nusra Front in 2012 with the support of Al-Qaeda to fight the Assad regime in Syrian civil war. As emir of the Al-Nusra Front, Al-Shara built a stronghold in the northwestern Idlib governorate. He resisted Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, which is a
is dead.
attempts to merge
Died like a dog.
Al-Nusra.
A beautiful dog.
Al-Nusra Front. This is not good. Al-Nusra's front with Islamic State, leading to a war between the two groups in 2016. Al-Shara. So this is. Do you realize who you're sitting down with?
Yeah.
So you're sitting down with someone saying, "Hey, man, how you doing?"
Yeah.
So he said, "The difference is you're a true killer, but what I have access to, you don't have access to.
Yeah.
Can we find a way to eliminate war?" Now, here's the thing. The challenge here is the next 4 years. Look at that picture right there, Vinny. Look at that picture right there. Okay? You realize that Saudi and Syria and him in the middle. He's smiling. The smile on the guy on the right from Syria is a different kind of a
It's
smile.
not even a smile.
He said, "This is a temporary picture we will take, but in 4 years, when you are no longer here,
Yeah, exactly.
And if I get Kamala or somebody else, Newsom, please, I will destroy everybody." But who knows what's going to happen here? What I love the most is what I love the most, man. Remember the qualities of an incredible leader is what? Fear, respect, love. In this case, he doesn't need to be loved.
Nope.
But he's liked, respected, and feared. That's all that matters. And it's working.
Yeah.
And the only unfortunate thing about this is not going to get fixed in 4 years.
No.
You need 10 years of this.
Yeah.
But you're not going to have it in America.
So what does that tell you, though?
What do you mean, what does that tell you?
That tells us whoever comes after this guy, we have
Exactly.
to keep this going and not give the other side an inch.
Whoever comes is not going to have the swagger that this
At
guy
all.
has.
I actually think it could be done quicker than you think.
Tell me.
Because, look, this picture right here, this is groundbreaking. We haven't done stuff like this, and the president, you got to give president credit. So sometimes it's considered photo ops, and sometimes it's actually considered getting shit
He's not
done.
a photo op guy.
Okay, well,
He's a doer.
He's a doer.
I agree with you, but hear me out. he met with Kim Jong-un, North Korea. Great photo op. They send me love letters. That didn't lead to anything. He met with Putin. Obviously, that turned out a little sour when Biden came to office. He met with Erdogan. Erdogan has become even stronger autocrat. So what will happen is this, and this is my opinion. This is why I think things go quicker. What do you think Trump's ultimate goal is? If you could sort of condense everything he's doing into one specific, actual, tangible item. In my opinion, what I think his ultimate goal is to actually finish what he started, which is the Abraham Accords. So if you actually pay attention to what he's doing, he's almost using the exact playbook that Bibi Netanyahu was doing in the Middle East. What is that? It's called the 99-to-1 strategy. The Israeli government and everything in the world was so focused on Israel having peace with Palestine that they said, until there it is right there, 91, strategic approach, often in the context of political discourse or military planning, or a small number of resources or actions focused on achieving a significant result. Hear me out. They said you can't have peace in the Middle East until you have peace with the Palestinians. And he goes, no, I don't think so, because these psychopaths in Hamas, we're never going to have peace with these people. So what we're going to do is start putting olive branches all around the Middle East. Boom, Abraham Accords happens. They start doing deals. Obviously, they have peace agreements with Egypt and Jordan that existed already. UAE, Bahrain, Oman, all these countries starts happening one by one. And some speculate that October 7th happened. Why? Because they were getting dangerously close to a peace agreement with Saudi. Okay, Trump sees that. He finished what he started. Now, Trump is basically doing the exact same thing, but on a bigger scale. And who is U.S. focused on isolating? If there's one country in the Middle East, one country, it would be Iran. So Trump's going out there saying, listen, let me go make friends with Qatar. Let me drop sanctions on Syria. Let me work out this deal with Saudi. All in the guise of basically saying, look, we have to isolate Iran, because if we're going to basically get everybody on our side and isolate Iran, that is the only way that they're going to come to the table and finish this nuclear deal that they started. So just to give you quick numbers real quick, $142 billion arms deal with Saudi, $600 Saudi investment into the U.S., $200 billion Boeing deal with Qatar, lift sanctions on Syria. Quietly, very quietly, a $1 billion arms deal is approved with Israel. Okay. And then Trump basically says, Iran, make your move, buddy, because the nuclear deal is going to be hanging on your shoulder. Well, that's what I think is happening.
Well, yeah. Well, top Iranian officials say that Tehran would forego highly enriched uranium in nuclear deal with Trump. So Trump is in big-time negotiations with them. But you know what it is? Just really fast. This is what leadership looks like. He's not there to bow. He's not there to apologize. He's not there to send pallets of cash. Okay, he's making deals. He's stopping the bloodshed. Excuse me, and he's showing strength. Unlike Biden, you see, bro, compare him to Joe Biden. Joe Biden, besides the falling down the stairs, when he met MBS, you know what he did? He fist bumped him. He's not even like
during COVID. So,
no, it wasn't during COVID. It wasn't during COVID. Regardless, you don't fist bump a freaking leader of a country, okay? And he's there. Well, listen, Trump is building peace with countries that used to chant death to America. That's exactly what the hell he's doing, bro. This is real diplomacy. He's not fighting. He's not trying to do all this wars and do all that shit. It's strength. Strength, not weakness. Yeah, what COVID? Nobody's wearing masks. Oh, that one guy in the back.
Vinny, not to get into the devil in details, this is during COVID. So that's the whole reason that they did a fist bump. But it's almost irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
What's more relevant is Biden came to office and the first thing he did was criticize MBS for the whole Jamal Khashoggi thing. And I get that. But, they say you don't make peace with your friends, you make peace with your enemies. Saudi is now becoming more and more and more of an ally. Don't forget that Saudi, who funded, I think, $2 billion of Jared Kushner's $3 billion
Saudi Arabia
investment? Saudi. So there's an interesting relationship going here. And in my opinion, it's all to isolate Iran. PBD, can I turn to you on this Iran thing?
Sure.
Okay. So if Trump does all these deals, and he starts basically doing these arms deals and getting Qatar on board and basically sort of leveraging economic ties and military ties, even with people that have not been our friends, Qatar, Syria, what have you. All of a sudden, Iran is looking at it and being like, hold on, we're out in the cold here. How does the Iranian government, the Ayatollahs, look at something like this from their perspective?
Okay, how many nuclear weapons does Qatar have?
None.
How many
allegedly.
How many nuclear weapons does Saudi have?
None, hopefully.
How many nuclear weapons do any of these countries in the Gulf have?
Hopefully zero.
Okay.
Iran is working on it.
How
and
many
Israel may or may not
How many
have
nuclear weapons does Russia have?
a whole bunch.
How many nuclear weapons does China have?
A good amount.
How is Turkey's military?
Very strong.
Listen, that's great that all these guys have money and oil. Their military is not a threat to anybody. They can do all the proxy stuff that they want to do. And I love that he's doing this because he is ousting them from financially. You're suffocating Iran financially, and you're empowering these guys. But to think like Iran's going to come back and work with you? You know, Iran the other day, when I'm talking to one of the biggest Iranian media companies, they came out here because we were talking about potentially purchasing them. And I won't be giving any names, and I don't want any of that to be out in the open. But we're having this conversation with them. Great conversation. And, you know, so why are you doing what you're doing? Well, you know, one day. I said, I get it, one day, but why are you doing what you're doing? He says, well, if Iran opens up and the economy opens up, you realize no American companies right now do commercials over there. If it opens up, think about it, no AT&T, no Ford, no nothing. How big is that market?
In
How
Iran.
many people? That's right. Watch this. This is Canada Dry commercial in Iran, 1973. Go ahead and play this. Go ahead, Rob.
Man, I'd drink that drink.
Look at this. Look at this. This works with us, buddy. It doesn't work. I want to have one right now. Look at that.
Canada Dry.
I'm going to have it right now. Bring one for me from 1973 with the
It's
Suski in
almost
it.
disbelievable of that's what Iran
No,
was
but what
like.
I'm trying to say to you is,
Very
like,
Western.
yeah, of course. Like you wanted to get to that. That was under the Shah.
Yep.
You wanted to get to that. You wanted to get to that level. You wanted to experience that with Iran. Here's another clip, Rob. If you can go to the other one of women's sports, girls playing sports and what they're doing. Watch this one here. This is the old Iran. Go ahead. 79. Look what they're wearing. This is pre.
Right.
This is them playing soccer. It's like anywhere else. Look at this. They're involved in sports. They're doing their thing. You're not going to find this today.
Right.
This is not what you're seeing over there. So but to go over there, what you're asking, right? Okay. So
Yeah, because the Ayatollahs do not want that.
no, they do
don't
not
want ladies in leggings.
They do not want that.
No.
So that economy around, if it gets better, and Iran is sitting around and is like, hey, daddy, Joey's getting inheritance from you, Bobby's getting this, blah, 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 and I'm not getting anything. But that kid is going to create resentment towards daddy. And in this scenario, daddy is who? Daddy is Trump. Why? Because daddy creates the sanctions where somebody's going to do business with you or not. But that kid that is turning against wanting to do business, so part of it is also what? An element of Cain and Abel, where it's like, hey, man, you are also not willing to, you destroyed an incredible piece of land that God gave you. Iran, this place has a very, very rich history of what happened to it. So to me, as much as this is all good economically, GDP instead of GDT, which is a very good point you made with Bassem when you guys were speaking to each other, yes. Having said that, Iran still has the backing of three of the biggest gangsters in that area. So what are you going to do? Turkey, Russia, and China still got a good relationship with them. Now, if Trump is able to get Zelensky and Putin to meet in Russia on Russians' ground to call, because that's the deal. This is all good, but this is all money to me. This is all money saying, listen, bring some of that oil money to the States. Here's what we're going to be doing. This is fantastic for economy and commerce. But what I want to see is, which is going to happen, you know it's going to happen, the president goes with his team. You got the Lutniks, you got the Rubios, you got all those guys. They're in Russia with Zelensky and his people are in Russia in a room with that picture. You see that Trump standing in the middle with Putin to the right and Zelensky to the left.
Yeah.
And that deal happens. That's good. Then he goes to China or Xi comes here and that visit happens. And if there's anybody that would be willing to go to China, he would go to make that on the big national, international stage. And then if he gets to find a way to get Turkey also scored away to be calmed down, then guess what happens with Iran? They're the Lone Rangers sitting there saying, oh, shit.
Yeah.
He's building a relationship. So I'm excited about that next phase of what's going to happen.
Well, as you guys know, in 2 weeks, Mondays at the 26th is Memorial Day. And, everybody, and I get it. It's time off, barbecues, we get to hang out, we get to drink. I mean, I'm not drinking, but, that day isn't all about that. It's remembering the brave men and women who fought and fell to give us every single freedom, every single right that we have. And at Valuetainment, we don't take that freedom lightly. We know it's brought with blood and encourage. So we got something on Memorial Day. We have a Memorial Day collection right here. We have the hats, Army, Navy, what else? Air Force. We got it all. So if you guys want to go to that section, and as the video is playing, we have if you purchase anything in a Memorial Day package, you get a sticker pack of every single branch, and you get a free American flag keychain. If you go to vtmerch.com, that's where it's going to be.
Go to vtmerch.com and place your order, folks. And if it isn't for you, if you know somebody that has or served in the military, send it to them. On top of that, Rob, did I send you that picture? This puts the biggest smile on my face. This is one of the best things about the Future Looks Bright brand is you get to put a smile on somebody else's face. Here's somebody that bought the lemon campaign that we did, Zest It Forward, and send it to someone. And look what it says here. I love that smile. Mother's Day can feel different when the kids are grown and the nest is empty, but your journey as a mom doesn't end. It just evolves along with you. Let's take a moment to celebrate strength, wisdom, sense of humor, and the love of the empty nester moms who continue to nurture, support, and inspire. Even from afar, we deserve to be acknowledged and celebrated every day. How awesome is that? And look at the smile she's got there, Rob. If you want to go to the next pages, she got the box, she got the card, she got the video, she got the hat. So if you're somebody that's saying, I was never in the military, but make a list of a handful of people, make their days, send something to them, put a smile on their faces. Sometimes we just need to, one of the ways to cheer yourself up is make somebody else's day. It's always been my way of doing it. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm like, let me find a way to make somebody else's day. I feel better about it. So go place an order, zest it forward, make someone's day by visiting vtmerch.com. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.